Okay, so the first scenario we're going to talk about is called December 15th deadline. And then there's a promise to a teammate and then the weekend horror. Okay, let's look at some of these one by one and discuss. Okay, so scenario December 15th deadline. So this is below the video, so you go ahead and why don't you go ahead and read it, because this text is appearing a little bit, is covered by some of my video. Okay, so why don't you read it and then let's take some time to discuss. Okay, so this one, okay, we can read it together. You can pause the video and write down your answer. So December 15th deadline, your supervisor gave you a new project and said December 15th is the deadline. Your supervisor is busy, very busy. It doesn't have a lot of time, but you have some good relationship. It's a pretty decent relationship with the supervisor. As December 15th approaches, a project that you thought you could easily finish, you're realizing, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can finish everything by that date. You start to panic. What should you do? Do you notify the supervisor and say, hey, I need more time? Now, deep inside, you know, if you plan better, you probably could have done this project by time, but hey, you had a lot of other things going on, right? So you couldn't possibly predict that this was gonna happen and it would take long. So, and plus the supervisor seems to be forgotten about these deadlines. I mean, this project was given a while ago. Your supervisor is super busy. Maybe your supervisor will just kind of let things go and maybe forget. I mean, there were instances where the supervisor gave you some projects and they forgot about it. So maybe it's okay. Or maybe you should still let the supervisor know and say, hey, I need more time. What would you do in this situation? If you're writing an email to the supervisor, what would you say to the supervisor? Okay, so this one, again, I don't care. Things happen. Get it done. Again, you said you were going to do it by December 15th. Even if I forget, you will remember. So don't cheat yourself. I don't care if you get any sleep. If you said you're going to do it by December 15th, do it by December 15th. You didn't plan well? Well, now you got to pay for the consequence. Put in more hours. Catch up. And next time, plan better so that you don't have to stay late up night for 3 nights in a row to deliver on time. What's not an option is for you to just give up and send an email. That's an easy way out. It's not even an option. You shouldn't send an email to the supervisor and say, hey, some things came up. I need more time to work on this project. Can I have one more week? That's a weak escape. And if I was the supervisor, I would say, what have you done to still meet this deadline? And if deep inside you're like, oh, I didn't really do that much. I'm still working my normal 40 hours a week, but I got other commitments. Then my response to you is, I don't care that you got other commitments. You made me a promise, and I expect you to fulfill it. Now, if you don't get any sleep, that's your fault. If you're sick, that's your fault too. I gave you plenty of time to work on the project. I didn't give you a deadline and say, hey, this is the deadline if you're always healthy, if you have no other, projects, that come in the way, if none of your coworker give you additional tasks to do. All of those things will happen. I given you a deadline anticipating all those variables. If I was a good supervisor, you have plenty of time. So I would say you still got 3 days. Deliver. Okay. And maybe next time when you set the deadline, you plan ahead and you try to set reasonable deadlines that you can meet. Right? But it's not acceptable to just say, can I have another week? How many emails out of that 300 emails that's sitting in my inbox as a supervisor do you think are people asking for extensions? A lot of them. And every time someone asks for an extension, -5 points, -5 points in my mind about how much trust they've lost. If you say you're going to do something, I don't care if the supervisor doesn't remember right now, because I guarantee They're going to remember later. Oh, do you know what? I remember giving someone project A, B, and C or task A, B, and C, and I actually never heard back. It's been a few days. They're going to remember. And for the mere thought of them having to exercise their brain to remember that, they're going to say minus 10 points on the trust factor. Once your trust goes from 100 to 0, you're out. Okay, do you really want to risk your career and lose trust from people that you work with because you failed to proactively update or because you failed in honoring commitment? In terms of failure, you failed in the scenarios. Accept failure. No one's perfect. Accept failure and do everything you can to make up. But asking for an extension without having done everything you could is simply not an option for a professional. Okay. Let's look at example number 2. Promise to a teammate. You're talking to your teammate and you promise to look something in for your teammate and have this ready for your teammate by next Wednesday. Next Wednesday approaches, but life happens, you're busy, and your teammate seems to have already forgotten. Yeah, you kind of let it slide, and you're meeting with the teammate. You say, oh, I'll just make it up later. You haven't talked. 2 weeks have gone by, and your teammate hasn't mentioned anything, and the relationship still seems quite strong. Well, let me tell you, you already lost trust. Your teammate may think you're a good friend, but they're not going to think you're a great colleague. If your teammate was promoted as a supervisor, do you think they're going to trust you as much as if you actually delivered and committed a promise that you delivered to your teammate? A lot of people will know that a lot of employees do what their supervisor told them to do, but they don't honor commitments that they made to another colleague or someone who's less of a hierarchy in a corporate ladder than them. But if you honor commitment to your teammate, they know that you will definitely honor commitments you made to your supervisor. So you earn that additional trust. Okay? So this is kind of the part of be the person with these core values instead of just portraying. You could portray that you seem to be a person that meets your own commitments, but you can fake it. But faking almost always just goes short term. You really want to honor your own commitment that you made to anyone, regardless of if they're the supervisor, colleague, or if they're people that you're serving. You make your own commitments, do everything you can to commit and deliver. Okay, again, try to deliver 99% of your promises, and there are cases where you can't just deliver your promise. Apologize and let them know that, hey, I failed. I'm very sorry for failing in this. I know I have given you my word and I wasn't able to deliver. Just want you to know that I've done everything I could. I've spent, last weekends and evenings doing X, Y, and Z. But I'm sorry again that I wasn't able to deliver. What can I do to make up? And you completely owned your failure. That's what professionals do. Okay? All right. Scenario 3, weekend horror. You have an important meeting the following Tuesday. You prepared a lot, but you still need to put in about 20 hours of work over the weekend to prepare for this meeting. Your supervisor is attending the meeting. Some of your colleagues are attending. Your supervisor is attending the meeting. Ooh, that's a sign that your supervisor probably likes you and wants to use this opportunity to impress his or her supervisor. So it's a very important meeting. Weekend comes in, you're ready to put in the work, but life happens. Life always happens. Let's say you got flooded, right? What the reasons are is irrelevant in almost all cases. Again, even if you're hospitalized, I don't care, right? You still made a commitment and you still got to do everything you can, even if that means getting someone else to do the presentation. Or you doing a remote presentation on your hospital bed. I don't care. If you made a commitment, do everything you can. Now, sometimes maybe you're not, able to speak. We'll find another way. Just don't give up. You made a promise, do everything you can. Just go with that mentality. Okay? But you take care of things, flood, apartment, family, your kids, or accident happens, you got sick, whatever. So, yeah, you have to go to the ER. Monday comes around, you're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. I'm about 85% prepared. But even if I put in all the hours on Monday, you will only get 90% as prepared. What should you do? Okay, easy way out. Do you try to extend the deadline? Easy way out is to email and say, hey, I need more time. But that is bad. You should not do that. That's not even an option in my mind. Monday comes around, you still got more than 24 hours to deliver. So then what would I do? Okay. Again, I wouldn't email and say I need more time. That's an excuse. Okay. Do you really want to use that 1% card to say I had a valid, reason? No, you don't. So what would I do? I wake up super early on Monday because maybe I really couldn't do any work. So I wake up at 4 a.m. on Monday. I say, okay, what can I do to still deliver? Maybe I can deliver up to 100% preparedness, but what could I do in the time that I have to be most effective? And I seek for inspirations. I pray for inspirations. And I really try to do the absolute best that I can to be most prepared with prayerful heart. And then I still go about the meeting because I promise my supervisor, my teammates, that I'm going to deliver on Tuesday. So I will deliver on Tuesday no matter what. In the meeting on Tuesday, would I even mention shit happened in my life? Yeah, maybe a little bit, maybe 5 seconds. No more than that. I don't want to bitch, right? Especially when everyone else has all these, I know they all have weekends, issues and things. I'm not alone, so I'm going to be compassionate. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm the victim here. I'm going to be like, yeah, maybe as a joke, you guys all had a good weekend. My weekend was crazy. I had this and this happen. Wow. But I done everything I could to prepare for this meeting. I'm prepared. So let's go at it, right? That's a much better way to start the meeting than saying, oh, I'm not that prepared, yeah, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. Very different, right? So anyway, how you present is very, very important. The key lesson is, I don't care what happens in your life. I do care, but this is kind of in a supervisor's perspective. Still do everything you can. If you've done everything you could, and then that was that 1% of the very rare chance where you just couldn't meet your own commitment after having done everything you can, then I will be on the understanding side. But if 90% of the time you promise something and you're not able to deliver, you don't even provide an update. I have to go and follow up with you to get an update. And you don't even create your own deadline. You say, hey, I need more time. And you don't even set your own deadlines. And I have to be like, okay, how much time do you need? And I have to follow up. You're wasting your supervisor's very valuable time. Please don't do that. You want them to be considerate of you. Please be considerate of their time. Okay.